Time to see what the wizards are up to.
Hey everyone. Hi, happy Tuesday. It's been a little bit since we've been on. We actually took a couple days off.
Shocking.
Actually only one day off. We went on a
Friday
3-day
last week,
weekend we went to Fairy Fest in New York. It was really fun. And our 7-year-old loved it. But we were still doing a bit of work up until we got there because there was zero phone service, which actually was a blessing. I did not know. I'm not sure we would have went if we knew there was going to be zero phone service. When we got there, everyone was like getting out their walkie-talkies, and I was like, "What's happening here?" Because people that had been there before knew that there was no service. One of the things I've been working on diligently is the Robot Quest Arena Pledge Manager. I know people have been anxious and enthusiastic about getting it and filling it out. So I have all the shipping information. I have, all the product information and everything that I need. There's a few more things that we're doing, and then we'll be submitting it for review. So I would say it's going to come out this week, but I know that the process is always something that they find that, is missing or something that we need to do in the process. So my estimate is that it will go out next week at some point. But I just want to let people know, because I know we'll get that question, that we are actively working on it, and it was being worked on while I was out of the office on Friday as well.
Yes. So basically soon, and when it does come out, I will be posting an update on the Kickstarter, of course. And there'll be some really sweet things that you can add in. So Kapow, a phenomenal game, which people have been absolutely loving at the conventions. That if you didn't back the Kapow Kickstarter, you'd be able to get that as an add-on, and of course you could buy the Kickstarter exclusives from the Kapow Kickstarter if that's something that you wanted. We will also have the Deluxe Nova collection as a Kickstarter exclusive, which is a gorgeous full foil set of Star Realms. We ended up making the box and everything super, super sweet. So it's a little pricier than it was during the Kickstarter because, we made it better. Cost went up a little bit. But obviously that won't affect anybody who already backed it. But if you Kickstarter exclusives, you can get when you back any of our Kickstarters. So if you wanted to get the Kickstarter exclusive Deluxe Nova collection, this would be an opportunity to get that as well. And of course, any of the cool things like the Frontiers Kickstarter promos for Star Realms, or the Hero Realms promo packs from the first or the second Kickstarter, any of those cool promo cards or things from previous Kickstarters we'll have available in the Pledge Manager, as well as our regular catalog of stuff.
Dusto says pictures and video do not do the Deluxe Nova collection cards justice.
Yeah, so we had
people were able to see the production copy.
Yeah, so we basically the factory. So those are the factory finished the original. They printed the stuff and they put together the first copy. It's called a MPC, a mass production copy, and basically the first copy off the line. And they airshipped that to us to check and make sure they did everything right. And we got it. It was beautiful and, approved. So they're in the process of packing, and we're right now trying to get line up a container to ship those overseas. So if you back the Deluxe Nova collection, basically we're in the process of the factories finishing them up. There's a lot of drawing of cards and et cetera that needs to happen, but that's in the final stages. And we're getting ready to ship those overseas. So we're super excited about that. And that mass production copy we brought to Origins and basically had it on a table, and we're showing it off to we had a community get together, and people could check it out and get their hands on it. So Dustin got to see the actual cards, and everybody was freaking out about how
Rob even let people play with them.
Yeah, we had it sleeved up.
Someone asked if they could play, if that's why they were sleeved.
are the sleeves mean to these who played? I was like, yeah, go. And they played games with them. So yeah, it was great. So yeah, that set is crazy beautiful. And the box is super nice. The cards are amazing. The score dials are great. It's just a really wonderful product. So if you backed it, thank you so much. And and we're getting close. And if you didn't back it and you're like, gosh, I want to get one of those. If you back another Kickstarter, you could add that Kickstarter exclusive collection.
Yeah, while units last.
Yes, while supplies last. So yeah, don't wait too many.
We won't be doing. So we had a question: is that Heroes Dungeons behind you? I guess it's behind you, Rob.
Yes. So this is that's a prototype box for Dungeons. You'll be able to see what the box looks like, and like when we had this printed, So for these upcoming Kickstarters, we've changed our process, and we are basically getting to the point where we're almost ready to submit files to the printer when we launch the Kickstarter. Previously, it was like, okay, we have a concept for a game. We've sort of done the early builds of it, and we're excited about the concept, and we bring it to Kickstarter with some art and stuff showing, hey, here's our concept, and would you like to support us? And that was great. We were able to get lots of feedback from backers early on, and help define the process. However, we take a long time in game development. We really like to get things right.
Perfect.
So I tend to be willing to make changes very late in the game to improve the product, and that makes it mysterious exactly how long the development's going to take. That combined with the COVID related and world on fire related delays, and production at factories and at shipping and etc. That those two things combined got to the point where I was like, wow, these Kickstarters are delivering way later than we want them to. So what we decided to do last year, we actually were planning on doing the Dungeons Kickstarter last year, and we were like, you know what, we're gonna wait, we're gonna finish things up, and basically we're gonna bring them to Kickstarter when we're at the very end of the process. So basically, as our graphic designers are finishing up the finishing touches on the files and getting those print ready files ready to send into the printer. So that's the big change we made to our Kickstarter process. And then we ended up moving the Star Realms Rise of Empire Kickstarter before the Hero Realms Dungeons Kickstarter, because as it turned out, we were the team that was working on the Star Realms stuff got those things finished up a little bit before the Hero Realm stuff. So basically, we are getting the Kickstarters pretty much ready to go. We got this collection. So I was just speaking about the Deluxe Nova collection. So basically, the factory is packing, drying, packing, getting the stuff ready to go. We're currently working on arranging a container. So there have not been any shutdowns or delays that have messed with us. Obviously, shipping is always challenging and customs is always challenging. So we still have some hurdles to go, but right now we're on track and things are going really well. So Deluxe Nova coming soon. Dungeons, we have that box contains the market deck and other things that we had prototypes made of for playing. Make sure we like the look of everything as we're playing it. So Dungeons will be coming to Kickstarter this fall, and it's got insane, awesome content with new characters, new base set, the adventure packs for the new characters with all their treasures and skill and ability upgrades. So you'll be able to play them from level 1 to level 24 for PvP play or campaign play. You can bring them into the Ruin of Thandar. The Dungeons box set is going to have its own adventure. It's going to come with the Alchemist and the Barbarian. So just awesome, super, super cool stuff. We're finishing that up. We're expecting to kickstart that this fall. And again, when we kickstart it, basically the files will be almost ready to go into the printer. So we're basically getting that, that finalized product so that it'll be a shorter run.
But when's it going to be in the app?
So that's an interesting question. So basically, we've got a whole bunch of new stuff coming in the Hero Realms app. as people know who follow the Star Realms app, they came out with that many years ago. And it's not like we put it out and like, okay, we're done. No, we're constantly improving it, getting player feedback, adding features, adding new sets and content, and etc. Hero Realms, same thing. We recently launched that, but we have a massive list of things that we're going to be adding to it. So, features that are, in the coming soon list are things like adding, tournaments. So like the tournaments you see in the Star Realms app will have similar things in the Hero Realms app. We can do so much cool stuff with tournaments in Hero Realms because we have that whole leveling system. So we'll have some tournaments where you start out at low level, and every round of the tournament, your character levels up, whether you win or lose. So you can sort of customize your character as you advance through the tournament. We're going to have, we'll be able to do like Legend Series events in the app, just like we've done, with Star Realms. We've got all kinds of cool stuff coming in that. We'll have cosmetics and other cool things, adding gems. So lots of stuff there. But we also have a lot of sets that have been made previously, and also these new sets, all of which we're going to be incorporating into digital. And we also we're currently working on logistics now to figure out for play testing teams for Hero Realms Digital. So we'll probably invite certain maybe Kickstarter backers or talk to our community and get people who want to volunteer to play on the test servers where we'll do things like have the new characters and kick the tires on them before putting them into the public app. So that content is all planned to come to the digital, but of course it's going to take some time because there's a whole lot of content for Hero Realms, and we're going to be rolling that out. I actually have like a 3-year plan for all the various sets and stuff that that we're going to be incorporating into the Hero Realms app as things go. So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming for Hero Realms Digital.
So we have a question on Rise of Empire. We can jump to Rise of Empire next if you want to talk about this.
So
React is asking.
Star Realms Rise of Empire is incredibly cool. So this is the newest set for Star Realms. I've talked about it here on this channel many times. It's a prequel to the original Star Realms set. It tells the story of the Star Empire's rebellion from the Trade Federation. We have a Kickstarter coming. It's coming this coming month. So it's July. We've set the date for July 19th. I want to show you guys. There is a smorgasbord of content. This stack of cards here, these are Rise of Empire cards. So basically, we wanted reviewers to be able to, we wanted to get some playthrough videos and stuff. We've sent copies of basically everything that they need to play through the first 4 scenarios. So the Rise of Empire is going to have 12 scenarios that you play through as a 2-player experience. It's a legacy campaign. So you and a friend will each choose which side you want to be, Star Empire or Trade Federation. You'll be that for the entire 12 series campaign. You'll play through the various games, and you'll be modifying the cards that are in the game as you play. When you're done with your series of 12 games, you'll be able to take that set, and it becomes a 6-player full Star Realm set that's compatible with all the other Star Realm stuff. So you can mix it in with your other sets, play it on its own, and play 2 to 6 players just out of that box set alone. Super cool set with some really awesome content. So this isn't all the cards that are coming out in this Kickstarter. This is it's a majority of them. It's basically what they needed to be able to play through those first 4 scenarios. But there's a bunch of content that we did not give because there's we of course have we have a bunch of surprises and cool content that you experience as you go through the game. So basically, when you open up the box, there'll be the standard cards as well, but there'll also be these envelopes for every single scenario. So you'll have 12 of these envelopes, and basically when you open them up, they'll have the stuff you need for to play that particular scenario. And some of them will have new types of cards and stuff that get introduced to the game later on. And as I said, we made in this big stack of cards are all the stuff that for scenarios 1 through 4, so that so we can have some playthrough content for those. So for example, in scenario 2, when you open it up, you're going to have 2 sticker sheets. So basically, these allow you to upgrade your cards. And in the Rise of Empire box set, you literally do that with these stickers by applying the stickers to the card and permanently changing what the card does. We also have something called the Infinite Replay Kit, which allows you to play through the campaign as many times as you like. And in the Infinite Replay Kit, we actually printed with the cards with the upgrades on them, and you have every possible upgrade in there, so that you can, when you upgrade using the Infinite Replay Kit, you just look for the upgraded card in your set, and you just swap the old card for the upgraded one. So there's 2 ways to do it. One with stickers that is in the base set, or with the Infinite Replay Kit, you have the actual cards printed with the upgrades on them. And the Infinite Replay Kit also comes with a fresh market deck, so you can play through the campaign using the stickers the first time, upgrade cards in that, with the stickers, permanently changing them, and then when you're done, you'll have a set that you've customized that's that has a unique build, and you can hang on to that, set it aside, and then when you take the Infinite Replay Kit out, you can replace the market deck with the new market deck that comes in the Infinite Replay Kit. And then when you do upgrades every time from then on, you'll be doing the card swapping. And if you want to replay the campaign again after you finish with the Infinite Replay Kit, you can just swap out all the upgraded cards for the regular cards and start over and play through as many times as you like. So in scenario 2, in scenarios actually 1 through 4, you're going to be getting these sticker sheets. So the first 4 scenarios of the game, each one will come with these sticker sheets. These represent your ability to not only convince a ship captain or a base captain to join your side of the war, either the Star Empire, convincing them to join the revolution, no longer pay taxes to the Trade Federation, declare their independence, or the Trade Federation convincing them to stay loyal. So when you buy a card, put it in your deck, that's basically that's thematically what's happening. But when you upgrade a card, when you buy it, you can spend 2 extra if it's a ship, or 3 extra if it's a base, and upgrade the card and change what it does. And this will give it more powerful abilities. It'll give it Star Empire or Trade Federation ally abilities, maybe a sacrifice ability, maybe even adding to the base ability of the card. And you just you pay a little bit of extra when you buy the card, 2 extra if it's ship, 3 extra if it's a base. Apply that sticker, and that card is going to be better in your deck for that game, but it'll also be permanently upgraded for the rest of the campaign. So you'll be changing those cards as you play. You'll have 5 stickers for each game. You can see here in this example, you've got a 1 cost, a 2 cost, a 3 cost, and 2 5 cost upgrades. So that is the cost, not the cost to upgrade it, but the cost of the card that upgrade can be applied to. So that top upgrade can be applied to a 1 cost card. That bottom upgrade there, those bottom upgrades can only be applied to 5 cost cards. So if you apply it to a ship, you're going to have to pay 2 extra, so a total of 7 when you buy it. If you're applying it to a base, the +3, so those would cost 8 total to upgrade a base, to both acquire the base and to get the upgrade. And if you complete all 5 of your stickers, all 5 of the stickers in a game from that game, it's an alternate win condition. It represents a political victory. So you've convinced enough of like the locals in that area to join your side of the fight that you win that particular scenario. So you can win the normal way by reducing your opponent's authority down to 0, or you can win by completing your sticker sheet. Any stickers that you didn't use in a game, you keep those sticker sheets available, and you can do an upgrade off of one of your old sheets that you had before. Finishing the old sheet does not give you a win. You can only get that political victory if you finish the current game's sticker sheet. The older ones don't matter for that. But those upgrades can be really powerful, and also they affect the long term of the campaign and the deck that you've got. So, and there's other reasons in the campaign why you may want to finish off those upgrades. Those stickers or card swaps in the case of the Infinite Replay Kit really add a ton to the game. I from this big stack of cards, I pulled out some examples of cool, just some cool cards to show you. So this ship is a ship that I like a lot. This is the Skyhound scavenger ship. Gives you 6 combat. When you play it, you may when you play it, you can put a ship from your discard pile on top of your deck, which obviously can be quite a powerful effect. Its ally ability, as typical for this set, the ally ability is very lame. It only gives you +1 combat, but it's got this great win acquired ability. So when you get this card, you may scrap a card from your hand or discard pile. So when you buy this, you get to thin a card out of your deck. So you get this awesome card in your deck, and you get to get rid of a weaker starting card. Skyhounds. So that's a fantastic ship. And when you do that upgrade, you're going to be covering up the its old ally ability and its win acquired ability. So if you upgraded this, it would cost 8. So you'd need your 6 cost sticker, obviously from a game which had a 6 cost sticker upgrade available, and you'd pay that 2 extra, so you pay a total of 8, and you'd upgrade the card, and the sticker would cover up these 2, the ally ability and the win acquired ability. You'd still get the win acquired ability when you buy it and upgrade it, so you get that win acquired ability for that game, but you'd be covering it up, so it'd be gone for future games. And you'll also be covering up the faction icon with a little dual faction sticker, which you get as well. And here is a example of what an upgraded card looks like. This is from the Infinite Replay Kit. So this is a Trade Federation upgrade for this card. So you can see you've covered up that 1 combat ally ability, which the Skyhound had previously, with the much more awesome draw a card ally ability. Which of course can be really powerful with the Skyhound's ability to put a ship on top of your deck. And you also got this powerful scrap ability to draw a card and destroy a base. So that's an example of what an upgraded card could look like. And here you've got the Star Empire's version. If you added Star Empire version of what an upgraded Skyhound could look like. So, can I get that in focus? So this one is adding discard a card to the effect and an ally ability for additional combat. So that thing can be hitting up to hitting for 9, making your opponent discard a card, and putting a ship on top of your deck. So really powerful upgrades. But it's the card in the future is going to be losing that win acquired ability. So in the future games, that card will be in the market. Either player can buy it. So the Star Empire player will end up buying some Trade Federation cards and putting them in their deck, and or vice versa. If you end up getting multiple cards of your opponent's faction, you can even trigger the ally abilities if you draw them together. So they work. They fully function. But the Star Empire players can have an easier time getting their ally abilities to trigger on Star Empire stuff because you got some Star Empire cards in your starting deck. So that makes that process easier. So your upgraded cards will be better for you than for your opponent in future games, but either player can buy them. But you do lose those when acquired abilities. So the deck that you're playing with as you progress through the campaign, the nature of the deck is changing. You're having more of the cards upgraded, so having more powerful in-deck effects when you're playing them. However, losing those when acquired abilities on them. So you get this really interesting transition as you go through the campaign. Another really cool thing about it is every single one of these will have a scenario card. So basically, it's an oversized card. So it's a nice big card, artwork, and rules for the game. The scenario card changes. You have a front and a back to it, Star Empire side and the Trade Federation side. The way you determine which side of the card you're using for the scenario is who won the previous game. So if the Star Empire, so in this case for scenario 2, if Star Empire player won game 1, you'll use the Revolt continues side of the Star Empire side of the Revolt continues, and each player in the game will get to draw a card and discard a card on their first turn. If the Trade Federation player won, then you use the game 1. Then you'd use the Trade Federation side for game 2, and in that one, each player will be starting with 55 authority instead. So basically, the setup rules and starting rules will tweak based on which side of that scenario card you're using. And some of the scenario cards later on do cool stuff. You have choices to make, and they can, have effects on the game, etc. Of course, the potential replayability of this is super high. Of course, you could use these scenario cards with a regular game of Star Realms. Just pick a side, pick mechanics you like, and play a game using any of these. But as you play through the campaign, those stories in order and giving and those game mechanics and those tweaking mechanics based on what's been going on recently in your campaign, and of course the changes of the deck. So basically, as you play through a second time or a third time or a fourth time, etc., through the campaign experience, you're going to have different stuff happening, and the replayability is super high. So if you do decide you want to get that infinite replay kit, you can play through the campaign multiple times, and you can try out different strategies of things to upgrade, etc. And of course, though the scenarios themselves will change as you play through, because you'll be winning different games at different times. During the game, you're going to be when you achieve things in the campaign, you'll be getting victory points. So the most every game is worth victory points. If you, for example, the winner of the scenario 2 will get a campaign victory point. This is something that you just keep, and this shows how many points you have total in the campaign. There will be victory points that you can get from things other than winning games that will come up during the course of the campaign. I'm not going to spoil them, but there are some other ways to get campaign victory points. And at the end of the whole series of 12 games in the campaign, the winner of the campaign will be determined by who got the most campaign victory points. We've got catch-up mechanics in the campaign that kick in the middle-ish of your run through the campaign. So basically, if one player is getting building up a bunch of defeats, their side gets a little more desperate, tries a little harder, and we have some catch-up mechanics that'll make it easier for the player who's behind to maybe get some wins and scrape together some victory points to tighten up the race for the campaign. So it's always good to get wins and to improve your position. But if one player starts pulling way ahead, we start giving some handicaps to make the campaign itself a tighter play experience. So that is the Star Realms Rise of Empire. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited about this product. It is so fun to play, and you get so much content that you can use with your other Star Realm stuff when you're done playing through the campaign. The campaign playthrough experience itself is awesome, but you get like this. As I said, this isn't even everything. And this unsleeved cards, that is a giant fat stack. Like Colony Wars is about yay big. So just to give you an idea of, the quantity of cards that you'll be getting. And you have all these cool upgrades. So for example, the cheaper cards have more ways to upgrade them. So here is the Emporium, a consortium base. It costs 5, has 5 defense, gives you 2 trade. So once it's in your deck, it's a little weak compared to cards from that you're used to from the game. However, it's got that win acquired ability. So when you acquire this card, you may draw a card. So you buy this card, and you immediately get to draw a card, obviously late in the game. That can be a pretty powerful effect. And of course, you have various upgrades for it. So for example, there's 2 different ways the Star Empire can upgrade that base, and we have here's both those upgrades. So this one has the ally draw and scrap for combat and making your opponent discard a card. And this version of the upgrade lets you draw a card, 2 trade, and draw and discard with an ally of 2 combat. Both those upgrades available for the Star Empire, and you'll end up using, if you use up all your sticker sheets, you'll end up putting those upgrades on, those upgrade mechanics on either a ship or a base in the game. And so there are a whole bunch of different ways each of those individual cards can end up in your final version. And of course, you might choose to put your upgrade on a kingdom ship instead, or a scavenger base. So basically, lots of different ways your set could end up. We have any questions?
We have had quite a few questions. There haven't been any pauses for me.
Sorry, that was a giant monologue. Yeah.
But I think people really liked everything that you had to say. We had some positive comments. So we had a couple of questions about number of players. So would it be possible to play it with 4 people, 2 people on each side, sort of sharing a deck, working as a team?
So basically, there's 2 answers to that question. For the campaign scenario that you play through, the answer, we designed it for 2 players. Now, not too hard to modify with house rules, and you could tweak it, but we did not design it for more than 2 in that scenario playthrough. So the ideal play for the 12 part scenario is a 2-player experience. You play through, and then when you're done, we have extra content that'll be in a finishing campaign over envelope, and you'll get extra stuff for the market and the extra starting decks and everything you need to transform it into a set for up to 6 players. And then you could totally play with multiple players on the side. You can go back to the old scenario cards and play those. You'll play that set of rules. Most of those should apply smoothly to more than 2 players in the game. And like I said, there are modifications you house rule modifications you could do to play with more players, but it's designed for 2. So ideal play for that scenario, those 12 scenarios through the storyline campaign, is a 2-player experience. But then everything is compatible for for more players. So you could totally have additional people playing with the set. It's designed to be able to be like any Star Realm set, be able to play with all the different Star Realms formats, free for all, hunter, team play, emperor mode, like all the different ways one could play. It's designed to be able to handle. So so yes, it's you can. So sort of is the answer to that question.
I mean, I could see myself playing this way. So.
Yeah.
As long as you're not going to like argue over what you're going to do on your move, if you can, work as a team, I think it could be fine. So kind of related. Also, can you play it solo? Have you done any thinking around that?
So the campaign itself, again, this is one of those campaign versus individual play. So the campaign is not designed as a solo experience. It's designed as a 2-player experience. So you need a second player to play through the campaign. Now, all of these are fully functional Star Realms cards. So there's a balance to how we made these. So when I designed all these factions, every single card has this win acquired ability, which makes the cards quite attractive to buy, even though they're a little weaker than regular Blob or Star Empire or Machine Cult cards. They are, when they're in your deck, the fact that they give you something when you buy them makes up for that. So if they're in the market, you're going to be interested in purchasing them. Or the upgraded versions, of course, have all kinds of cool abilities. So those are awesome cards as well. So you can take the cards from this set and play them with for example, the Frontiers solo missions. So it's compatible with our solo content, but it itself is not. It does not have solo content. So there's not like solo scenarios in this one. So great stuff to mix with the pre-existing solo content, but not a solo experience on its own.
And for those who joined late, can you just repeat the timeline for Rise of Empire?
So basically Rise of Empire, could you bring up the slide with the date again? Yes. So it's coming in July, in a few weeks from now, July 19th, Star Realm Rise of Empire is coming to Kickstarter. And basically, as you can see from the stuff I'm showing, like we are very close to done on the card. So there's some tweaks. So for example, here's here's the upgraded version of the Prince ship, if I can show that. And this has
share
like
these files on social media as well, like that Rob is showing.
Yeah, so you'll be able to see them. So basically, that card, as you saw, had gave 7 combat and then had draw a card. Basically, the reason for that is the original version of the Prince gives 7 combat and draw a card, and the Trade Federation upgrade gives you draw a card. So we're gonna tweak that to say draw 2 cards instead. So there's some minor changes to the files that we're making, but the card files are basically done. Like one could send these to the printer right now. We'll make a few corrections before then. So over the next month and a half between now and when the Kickstarter ends, we're making some tweaks to those. We have to do like the rule book. We have not done the layout for that yet, so that's going to be something we're doing over the next couple months. We'll be getting that buttoned up. There's some tweaks to the packaging, like the text on the back of the box and stuff that we still need to do. But as far as like the gameplay, the artwork, the graphic design, the layouts, almost everything is done on that. So this is basically where we're typically at, like 6 months to a year and a half after a Kickstarter ends, is where it is, where the product is now. So basically, we'll be running this Kickstarter, and very shortly afterwards, we'll be sending files to the printer. So it'll be a pretty quick, relatively speaking, a quick turnaround time, way faster than the stuff that we've done previously, based on that that change we decided to make last year. Will the Kickstarter be strictly Rise of Empire, or will other Kickstarter expansions, Nova Collection, etc., be potential add-ons? So yes, there'll be other stuff. For this Kickstarter, we'll have we'll have a pledge manager. There'll be other stuff you can get, Kickstarter exclusives from other Kickstarters, and other sets, etc., that you'll be able to pick up in the pledge manager. So it'll have those other things available as well. Command decks for the new factions, that is a theoretical possibility at some point. Keep in mind these new factions for this set. In the storyline of Star Realms, these are old factions. So basically, this is pre-Blob invasion. So the Machine Cult does not exist. The Blob have not come in yet. So basically, and in the war of the Blob invasion, these factions got wiped out / absorbed by Star Empire and Trade Federation. So wiped out by the Blob or absorbed by the Star Empire and Trade Federation, so they no longer exist as a major star realm in the more modern from the timeline of the game. But that said, there's no reason why a legendary commander from those factions could not have survived and still be in the game in the later sets. So
will there be dividers for the ultimate storage box?
So basically, ultimate storage for as we make new content, we're going to continue to add make dividers for the ultimate storage box, and we'll put them together as a thing that you can buy. So and how much they'll cost will depend on the number of dividers that we need for it. So for example, when we made the Star Realms High Alert set, we made dividers for the High Alert set for the storage box. Same thing with the Hero Realms and Epic stuff. As we make content that needs dividers, then we'll be adding making printing fresh dividers, and you can purchase those if you want to be able to use that in your storage boxes. So yes, it's definitely something we're going to do.
Awesome. I think that was all the questions on Rise of Empire. We have a couple on Hero Realms and on the Hero Realms app. So one was, I'm looking for it here. Do we have numbers on like total number of players on the Hero? I'm not sure we have that ready to share today, but
it's something that our team has. I'm actually going to be doing a meeting with CJ from the digital team this week and looking at a whole bunch of numbers. Wait times for various queues, number of downloads and players, and also win ratios for all the various classes, etc. So so hope on an upcoming stream I'll be able to share stuff with you. Anecdotally, I can say that basically I play a bunch, and I'm joining real-time queues, and I'm getting games. So that's sort of the a big important threshold. Are there enough players playing that we can queue up games, given that the players are not eligible to play anybody? If you can only play somebody a couple levels off from your level if you're choosing standard play mode. So if you want to play your 7th level ranger as a 7th level ranger and not potentially be down leveled, then if you enter a standard queue, you can only play a fraction of the current player base. That obviously hurts our pairing times. But I've been playing standard games with characters of various level, various rankings, and I've been getting those games queued up. So that's exciting. Now we have some built-in delays on how long we queue. So first thing when you select that you want a game, we try and find somebody of the appropriate level. So if you're down level, playing down level, that doesn't matter. But if you're playing standard, that does matter. So trying to get somebody within your level range, ideally an exact match on level. And also we're trying to get an exact match on your ranking. So the instantaneous check is, can we get that? And then we have various little time delays where we then say, okay, we're willing to take a wider group of levels, off by a level, off by 2 levels. We're willing to take a wider gap in rankings. We're willing to pair people of different ranks together. And so basically, as that sort of time progression extends until at the at the end of that time delay, we'll say, okay, 2 players waiting for a game. As long as their levels are within 2, we don't care about what their ranks are. We'll just let them play. So that sort of is the reason why the delays will vary a little bit on game startup times. What's going on with the pit? So basically, I love the concept of the pit, and basically I had a vision for it. And working with the digital team, there were some tweaks that got made. I wanted the pit to be, okay, you create a character for the pit fight, basically like, you get accused of crime, you get captured, you get put into the pits of Thandar, and it's like trial by combat, and you have these series of fights that you have to do. And if you survive them all, then you win your freedom and et cetera. And basically the idea of the pit fight is it's a hardcore mode. Big risk, big reward. So basically, if you level up in a pit fight, if you win a pit fight, your character immediately levels up. It's not an experience-based thing. It's like you're level 7, you win a pit fight, you're level 8 immediately. But if you lose a pit fight, your character's dead forever. So basically, it's this hardcore mode. And the idea, what I want it to be, is you create a character level 1 for pit fight, and you play through the pit fight with that character. The character cannot leave the pit, and basically you have to win all your games to get to maximum level, whatever it is in the app currently. So currently level 12. If you make it all the way through, you won the pit. You've won your freedom, and that and you do that progression. A really cool thing that the digital team was trying to do was let people play the versus AI games any way they wanted. So you can take a character and play versus the AI, and then jump into the campaign and play all the different versus AI modes. One of our versus AI modes is the pit fight. So they made it so that you could just jump into the pit anytime you wanted. And that's cool conceptually. However, there were not enough warnings on it. And basically, people would play through the campaign and build up their character. And I really love my ranger. And what's this pit fight thing? Let me try it out. And I lost the game. And oh my god, my character's dead forever. So that was not good. That was making some people very, very sad. So what we've done is we've disabled the pit fight. And I'm like, okay, digital team, make it so that you come in. A pit fight is something that you do as a separate thing. You start at level 1, you go up to level 12. I also want to have pit fight to only have the hard mode AI because pit fight's meant to be this super hardcore challenging thing. So basically, we're revamping the pit fight. We took it offline so people don't accidentally kill their AI, the versus AI characters, and get super sad. But it will be coming back. It's actually one of my favorite ways to play the app is playing pit fight versus so yeah, we definitely will be bringing it back with some tweaks. So that's why it is currently offline. So in a coming update, we'll have those fixes to pit fight. And yes, we'll absolutely long term, we're going to have achievements for for doing various stuff. So I have a bunch of cool ideas for various achievements you could unlock through having different characters survive the pit. But these are there's a bazillion cool things we want to do with the app, and we have to sort of prioritize and have various stuff coming out.
Any other languages for the app?
So this is something that I'm interested in, and we've been interested in doing for a long time, both for the Star Realms and for the Hero Realms app. It's a little bit more complicated than just putting the alternate language cards in to do it properly, which is one of the reasons why it hasn't happened yet. Because, for example, like in the Star Realms, we've got campaigns, and the campaigns have audio, and there's a lot of text in there. So all that would be translated. Ideally, you want to have some customer support people available who understand whichever language you translate into. So, for example, if we had a version in Chinese, we'd want someone who spoke it, so that when people had questions or whatever, asking questions in the forums, we'd want to be able to answer them. So basically, it is a long-term goal of ours to have various languages supported in the app, but there's some hurdles between us and that goal. But it is something that we very much want to do. And of course, we have local partners, like, for example, with in Spanish, Devere translates and distributes our products in Spanish. So we do have translations of the cards themselves. But we don't have those translation assets for the digital portions of our products. So that's something that we would like to do at some point. Don't have yet.
Yeah. Thanks. So we had a couple questions about Sorcerer. So this question from Wash Bearable. I like your little icon here. That's cute. What is the best way to play Sorcerer if you have 3 or more players? And then there was a couple of comments just asking for general updates on Sorcerer.
So basically, I personally like the side versus side version of Sorcerer. So I like the 4-player, 2 players on a team version of Sorcerer. There's a lot of cool things you can do where you try and get like synergistic abilities between your Sorcerer and your teammate Sorcerer, etc. So my personal favorite for a larger number is the 4-player, 2 players on a team. It allows you to have up to 6 minions in each battlefield, and you're working together, attacking their side of the table. So that's my personal favorite. But there are also the free-for-all modes, and in those you have the battlefields between the players. So instead of 3 battlefields across the center, you have a battlefield between you and the player to your left and the player to your right, and you can move forces back and forth between those 2 battlefields. And in that mode, instead of when you win a battlefield, it's flipped over and no more fighting there. In that multiplayer individual mode, when you win a battlefield, you gain a victory point, and instead of the battlefield flipping over, the battlefield resets, killing everything that's there. All the minions that are there get wiped out, and the damage on the battlefield resets to 0, and it basically becomes a fresh battlefield you can fight over again, which creates a whole bunch of really interesting mechanics. So basically, you can if the opponents to your left and right are both teaming up on you, you can either decide, I'm going to fight for this battlefield, ignore that one, or you can just build up your resources and ignore both. Let them win those battlefields. When they win, all their stuff there will die. Meanwhile, you've been building up resources, so you can come out swinging hard, for the next fight on that battlefield. Or, as I said, you can be like, all right, I'm gonna try and win this battlefield on the left, and sure, I'll let them, my opponent on my right win that battlefield. Their stuff will just all die when that game's won, and then I can worry about it later if that player starts getting close to getting the 3 victory points they need to win the game as a whole. And also sometimes you're like, I think I can win this battlefield without having this powerful minion there. I'm going to spend an action to reinforce and move it over to my other battlefield. And so then battlefields that you were losing sometimes, oh wait, now I have a chance to win because they were afraid of that apocalypse that happens when that battlefield is won. So they moved a big resource out. So now maybe if I push a little harder, maybe I can fight back and win this battlefield. So you get a lot of cool interactions going on with that. So those are sort of the various ways. My personal favorite is the 4-player team, but and of course Sorcerer plays great as a 2-player game as well. We are, as I have updated it fairly recently for the Sorcerer Kickstarter. Basically, we are working with the printer to book timeline. We want to work specifically with the Panda, the same printer that we did the original the original Sorcerer stuff with, to get a perfect match on components. And of course, we want that quality to be insanely high, like it was with the original one. So we don't have a date yet with them, but we're trying to book it. So my best guess is that we'll be done with printing, and it's ready to sort of ship out of China, probably end of this year or early, or basically this winter, either on the 2022 or 2023 side of the winter, depending on when the factory has the availability to get us in. So that's where we are with the Sorcerer Endbringer stuff. Any other questions?
There was a question about Hero Realm, so maybe just a very brief dungeon. I think this is probably about the dungeons.
Sure.
Stuff.
So basically, we have the Dungeons product coming for Kickstarter to Kickstarter this fall, or crowdfunding this fall, I should say, and it's got a ton of cool content. Basically, there's it's a lot of development work on the Hero Realm stuff, as you can imagine, with all those character leveling possibilities and etc. So it's taken us some time to get those things finalized, but we anticipate that we'll be ready this fall. That may push a little bit if we finish earlier or finish a little bit later. Again, we're changing the way we do our Kickstarters so that we're getting the product done from a design and development standpoint before bringing it to Kickstarter. Previously, we had sort of the original design done, but not the development. We'd bring it to Kickstarter and stuff would change a lot. And that pushed our timelines out a lot. There were some advantages to it, but we got concerned about the duration between the campaign ending and when we fulfill. So we wanted to tighten that up. Best way to do that is to basically bring the stuff to Kickstarter after development is done. So that's where we are in the Hero Realms process. We can expect that stuff this fall. And then the good news is, as the development is done, so that means that we can send files to the printer and get the stuff in the pipeline much faster for our Kickstarters in the future. So while you have to wait longer for the Kickstarter itself to happen, there'll be less of a wait after the Kickstarter happens. So we think it's going to be a really nice improvement for our fans and backers. So yeah, bear with us. We're working on the Hero Realm stuff, and we have a lot of new content coming, which awesome. I think you guys are going to love. It's just beautiful.
Excited about the Druid.
Yeah, personally.
And then there's a question about the Hero Realms app. I think this is the last question, unless anyone throws any in here while you're answering this one. Any thought on having just the base Hero Realms game? I think the question is whether someone can play the base Hero Realms game without the character packs, I think is what he's asking here.
So yes, most likely form that's going to take is challenge. So basically, one of the ways that you can play online is to challenge somebody to a game, challenge a specific opponent. So we could pretty easily add that core set no characters as a challenge mode and potentially a versus AI mode. One of the things we really wanted to focus on the character packs and the character development in Hero Realms, because that's one of the things that really makes Hero Realms special and different from other deck building games, especially different from Star Realms, which obviously uses the same core engine. So we really wanted to focus on that character, on the character development and leveling and etc. In the app. So that's why it wasn't a launch feature, but it is definitely something we can do. Kind of want to keep newer players away from it, because we want them to learn and understand characters and level up their characters, etc. So it'll probably be a slightly hidden mode like challenge.
When were you?
New characters in the app. So basically that is something that we are planning on doing. I believe my current timeline has the first new characters hitting the app. I think next summer 2023 timeframe. So basically, we're going to be doing the Kickstarter for the dungeon stuff. Again, that content will be done, and then we'll be printing that, and then of course we can also add it on the digital side. So there'll be the new characters will release over time in the app, and of course that'll be an awesome thing for the app because it'll add more play experience. We're also going to be increasing the level cap in the app, so over time, so you'll be able to get right now the level cap's 12, but that'll be increasing to 14 and then 16 and 18, etc. over time, with the long-term goal of level 24. Ancestry, the the Ancestry pack is also something that is going to be added to the app. Again, take all these dates with a grain of salt because digital development, you got to get it right. You can't push it out if it's not ready because it just break games. But my current timeline has this winter as when the Ancestries will be coming into the app. And that, of course, gives all kinds of cool play combinations. Play as an Elven Ranger or a half-orc fighter, or all the different, or orc fighter, all the different variations that exist in the Ancestry pack. You want to be a small folk thief, you can just all kinds of cool combos. So that'll be those will be coming into the app, and then just like we've done with the character classes, there'll be power balance tweaks. We may discover through the thousands and thousands and thousands of games that we get played in the app that, oh wow, at higher levels an elven wizard has too high a win ratio or whatever, and so we'll make little tweaks or balance changes as we need to, just like we do with the character packs in the app, and can really get that balance perfect with the huge number of plays we get in the app. Oh, awesome! Thank you so much. That's it's really appreciated. The team worked really hard on it, and you guys, everybody who backed the Hero Realms digital Kickstarter and played games, and especially gave feedback. That's what gets us to where it is. So and continuing to get feedback in the app is phenomenal. Oh, and by the way, if you play the Hero Realms digital app, it would be awesome if you could go in and give a rating in the app stores, in the various app stores, and write reviews if you're up for it. That the rate, basically games with high ratings, close to 5-star ratings, and games with lots of written reviews talking about what's awesome about the thing. That's what really grows the community, because people look through the app store and like, oh, I like this type of game, and I play card games, so Hero Realms popped up as a suggestion. Click on it. What's its rating look like? What are people saying about it? Is it awesome? So that would be a really phenomenal way to help grow the community, and we would really appreciate it. It'll also shorten your wait times for games, because the more people we have playing, the faster those games will populate. So yeah, that's we're really excited about the Hero Realms app, and of course the Star Realms app has been a longtime favorite on the App Store. So super excited about
thank you.
About having the Hero Realms in there as well.
All right, we had another question slide in here. I think this will be the last question. What is the anticipated fulfill date for Kapow?
So right now they're in the printing process. They're doing. We approve the plastics, the dice, the little knobs that go into the score dials, etc. That is in process. The factory is making those right now. They, plastics take a little bit longer than paper. I think, again, this is from memory, so I think we're about 2 months out from the factory being done. Basically, everything's been approved. All the pre-production proofs are approved. They're in the process of making stuff. I think that they will basically have the stuff done at the factory. I think it's the early September timeframe. But obviously things could change with COVID shutdowns or, craziness in the world, but they're in process. So we're looking good for, delivery this fall. So knock on wood. We desperately want to have Kapow out. Game is phenomenal, and we really want to have it at trade shows for sale. We've been demoing Kapow at trade shows.
How do I get it?
And people they play it and they want it. They want to buy it, and boy, do I want to be able to sell it to them. So yeah, obviously we got to get the Kickstarter backers their games first. So we are working on it, and it's going well. So knock on wood. Hopefully we'll be hopefully in a couple months we'll have the stuff done, fully packed at the factory and ready to ship out.
Yeah, and someone asked when it will be available for sale online. I won't really be able to answer that question until we know when it gets out to backers.
One of the reasons, I really want to get it as soon as possible to the backers is, boy, would I love to have Kapow in stores for the holiday season this year. So, but obviously we got to get it to backers first. It's got to be done first. So I would love to have it in shops for Christmas. Right now, that's our timeline. But, obviously logistics can hiccup and change, along the way. There are a lot of moving parts to international production, shipping, and fulfillment. But yeah, that's our current timeline. So ideally, backers this fall, stores this winter. Fingers crossed. Working on it. Those are our targets.
So Rob, have you been doing some side work on the voiceovers? We actually really like the voices too, but it's not actually us, but the voices are really cool.
Yeah, no, we have voice actors that did a great job, and we have I love the various sound effects, like basically every card in the Hero Realms app, when you purchase it, it says
really
something.
Cute.
It has sound effect. We don't have them when you play the cards. We basically didn't want to have that constant din and chatter going on. But it's really nice it making noises when the cards are purchased, because you can be sort of not looking at your screen and your opponent's taking their turn, and you can hear what they're buying. And after you played a while, okay, I know exactly what they got. So it's a pretty cool thing.
Hey, his cleric needs his Drogon. What's happening?
So promo cards. My first scheduled improvement to the Hero. So we got a lot of free improvements that we're making constantly, but sort of the first big update that I have in my scheduled list is for this fall, which will be the Kickstarter 1 promos and an increase in the level cap up to level 14. Again, all digital dates take with a huge grain of salt, because these are my targets. Sort of directing the digital team of, okay, work on this, and so if all goes well, that would be the.
Sometimes it's sooner, and sometimes it's longer. We don't.
Yeah. So it obviously has to be right before we do it. I saw a question on the campaign for digital pop up there?
Oh, that actually was my Discord a Discord alert. So I'll answer that in Discord. So yeah, if you have questions, you can also ask in the Discord channels, especially about the digital app. We have the Heroes digital discussion. So yeah, an alert just popped up on my computer. Oh, that was about when the next expansion is in Heroes digital.
Sure.
So
very topical.
Yeah. So I can go answer that after this call. Any way to play the music. So I don't know the answer to that, David, but I can bring it back to the digital team. So we bring back, feedback that we see. We get feedback in a lot of different ways. People report things in the app. There's Discord. There's, people posting on social media. So when we see feedback, both positive and and constructive feedback, we feed it to the digital team, in real time as we see it. So yeah, I'll ask them this question. I don't know the answer off the top of my head.
Yeah, but we had a lot of great sound people working on the Heroes app. So yeah, great music, a lot of audio, features. Yeah,
they also so it's great to hear this positive feedback. The person in Discord also just said the game is so good. So it's because of course we get constructive feedback as well, but it's great to get both. Yeah, we love this game, it's really awesome, it's perfect, etc., and constructive feedback so we can keep making the game better and better. So any suggestions, I'll feed this back to the digital team, David, but we love hearing feedback and suggestions. So you can bring it here. Every Tuesday, you can bring it into the Heroes digital Discord. I think everyone knows our Discord, but I'll put the URL in here really quick as well.
The Discord is by far the best way to communicate with, on Heroes related issues, because like members of our digital team, like Joel freaking lives in that Discord. He's on there all the time and checking stuff out. And so basically you can often get real-time answers, on questions and stuff in there, or members of the community will, chime in and, they'll know answers to a lot of questions. Or if you have just general feedback, stuff you'd like to see, great place to talk about it is the Discord. So awesome.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us. Thought this was going to be a short stream, and there was a lot of awesome questions. And Rob went on and on about Rise of Empire. Talking about all my favorite toys. For anyone that joined late, you can watch the replay and hear all about Rise of Empire. That was great. And we will see you next Tuesday.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.